everything is happening the way it should. That was a little fun. Hello, everyone. We're about to begin Shabbat Shalom. It's Rabbi Joshua Hoffman. You see Cantor Barron. You see Cantor Barron's face, but you hear my voice, and he's not saying a word. If he could start like moving his lips, he just sounds very, very rabbinical. If he could like really nod thoughtfully and express wisdom, that would also work. You're so good. All right, let's go get ourselves locked in the cage. Here come the beer bottles. All right, Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Welcome to Valley Beth Shalom. It is 6 p.m., which means that Shabbat is on the horizon and the sun is setting. And while the glow of the sun crests over the horizon, Shabbat is the time that we enter into eternity, because we have been in the world of building and creating, of toiling and of struggling. And now Shabbat is a time for us to live in eternity and to experience bliss and peace and connection and love and friendship and kindness and warmth. Everything that we strive for, Shabbat welcomes us to enjoy, to drink in, to share with others, and hopefully carry just a little bit of that on our week to come. Cantor Barron, are you ready to help us enter Shabbat?
Ready. And I was listening to your words, and I was noticing the light coming in on the books over there, on that side there. It's so pretty, the way it sort of cascades over the books. We'll watch it throughout the next, 45 minutes or so, and see what happens as it sort of starts to fade.
Beautiful. Yeah. Here comes Shabbat. I'm ready. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Let's begin with Kabbalat Shabbat, the words of Shalom Aleichem. Bring the angels of peace, bring them into our homes with light and with love. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Shari, Malachei Hayom, Melech Malachei Hamalakim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Shari, Malachei Hayom, Melech Malachei Hamalakim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Malachei Shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Baruch Hu. Shabbat Shalom, page 15. Lechunei Ranana. Let's begin.
Lechunei Ranana, Lechunei Ranana, Lechunei Ranana, Lechunei Ranana, Lechunei Ranana, Lechunei Ranana, Maria, Maria, Tzori, Sheikh, Kadma, Panna, Benjuda. Naria, Letzor, Yeshek, Bimero, Naria, Lo, Lechunei Ranana, Lechunei Ranana, Lechunei Ranana, Ladonai, Lechunei Ranana, Lechunei Ranana, Lechunei Ranana, Ladonai. El gadol Adonai, melech gadol amol Elohim. El gadol Adonai, melech gadol amol Elohim. Lechunei Ranana, Lechunei Ranana, Lechunei Ranana, Adonai. Lechunei Ranana, Lechunei Ranana. Arba'im shana hakut bedor, va'omaram to'elemam hem, vehem lo yadu dirachai, asher nishpati ve'api, im yemon el menuchati. Lay, 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 lay. Or zarua latzari, or zarua latzari. Ay, 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 Tzaddik. Romemo, Romemo, at the bottom of page 19. Romemo Adonai Eloheinu, ve'ishtachavu, la'Adonai Kadosh. Romemo, Romemo, Romemo Adonai Eloheinu, ve'ishtachavu, la'Adonai Kadosh.
Shabbat Shalom. These weeks following the day we commemorated the destruction of the temples in Jerusalem on the 9th of Av, which was just about 10 days ago, leading up to Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, are called the weeks of consolation. And each week, there are special texts that we read from the prophetic portion which communicate the message that the moment in which we experienced exile and separation from God as the temples were destroyed. In fact, any moment that we feel a separation or an exile from God is something that can be consoled, can be transformed, and with proper intention can even be made holy. The sages who crafted Kabbalat Shabbat knew this deeply. And I take the words from a great teacher on Jewish prayer, Rabbi Larry Hoffman, who taught that Kabbalat Shabbat is the moment in which we reaffirm that God and humanity share the same fate. When we noted the day of destruction in Tisha B'Av and we experienced exile, we identified that exile wasn't by earthly hand. It wasn't the destruction of a space, but it was the exile of our people, first to Babylonia and then dispersed throughout all the lands in the world. And that dispersion was a consequence of our exile from God. So the idea that God and humanity share the same fate is something that the tradition picked up and carried with it throughout the years as the Jewish people confronted so many moments of suffering and of segregation and of degradation and of humiliation. That as the Jewish people were in exile, God too was in exile. The Kabbalists who wrote prayers like Lecha Dodi, which we're about to recite, imagined the most incredible moment of reunion. They were the most passionate about the possibility that God and humanity, the Jewish people, as representatives of humanity, would be back in reunion with God. Just like a bride and a groom come together underneath a chuppah, two unique, individual, independent souls, two unique individual entities that come together as one. And the Kabbalists weren't shy to capture the most powerful expression of that union by saying that just like a bride and groom stand under a chuppah and consummate their love, so too does B'nai Yisrael consummate its love every Shabbat in coming back, reunifying, returning to its relationship with God. This is something that we can relate to even today because we're out in our worlds and there's so much that separates us. There's distinctions and differences. And we live in the world of distinctions and differences. And sometimes those separations enable us to have a sense of stability and certainty in the world. We know our place because we know where we belong. But all that separation not only divides us sometimes from others, but divides us from this powerful cosmic relationship of all that is in God. And so as we begin Shabbat, this journey that we begin to take right now with the words of Lecha Dodi, and each and every prayer that we begin to recite is about a return home. It is the recognition that each and every day we have to go out into the world and we have to build and we have to create and construct. And sometimes that means we make distinctions, but never because that is the end in and of itself. The end is so that we can come home, we can return, we can be back with God. Shabbat is our moment to return. After all the week that you've had, wherever you've been, whatever struggles you've undertaken and you have hopefully overcome, Shabbat is the time that you come home. So welcome home. Just like the groom and bride are welcomed under the chuppah, we welcome each other with beautiful melody, with beautiful words, with prayers of song and celebration and rejoicing that we have come home, that we are, as we hope, back to one, unified as we're always meant to be. Lecha Dodi begins, page 21.
Likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat, nikavela, lecha dodi. Likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat, nikavela, shamor v'lachor v'borechad, shmiyanu. Simcha u'tzora, toch emunei ha'segula, bo'hi chala, Adoni, Likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat, kavela, Adoni, Likrat kala. Come on and sing it. Likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat, kavela, Adoni, Likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat, kavela.
Beautiful. Let's remain standing as we continue into our evening prayers with Mariv, which is found beginning on page 28. Page 28 in our Sidurim, as we turn and face towards the east, or maybe towards the green light in your screen, we bow following the cantor and welcome the evening prayers. Please take your seats if you're standing, and we continue now towards the bottom of page 28.
Adonai Tzvaot Shemo. El Chai V'Kayam Tamid Yimloch Aleinu Leolam Vahed. Baruch Atah Adonai Ha'ma'ariv Haravim. Ahavat Olam Beit Yisrael. Torah u'mitzvot ukim u'mishpatim otanu limadeta. Al kein Adonai Eloheinu v'shovveinu u'v'kumeinu nasiach lechukecha v'nizmach b'niverei Toratecha u'v'mitzvotecha le'olam va'ed. Ki heim chayenu ve'orech yameinu ve'orech yameinu u'vahem neged yomam v'layla. Ve'amatecha tasir mimenu le'olamim baruch atah Adonai ohev amo Yisrael.
Shema Yisrael together, page 30.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha, b'chol levavcha, u'b'chol nafshecha, u'b'chol me'odecha, v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele, asher anochi mitzavecha, hayom al levavecha, v'shinantam levanecha, v'dibarta bam, v'shivtecha b'veitecha, ובלכתך בדרך, ושוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם להיות על ידך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך.
Take a moment meditating on the words of Shema of the paragraph which we read even in our Torah this week, all the way through page 31, in which we'll recite the third paragraph of the Shema aloud together.
Omer Adonai el Moshe lemor, Daber el bnei Yisrael, ve'amarta alehem, ve'asu lahem tzitzit, al kanfei videhem ledorotam, ve'natenu, al tzitzit hakanaf, betil techelet, ve'haya lachem tzitzit, הוריתם אותו, וזכרתם את כל מצוות אדוני, ועשיתם אותם, ולא תטורו אחרי לבבכם, ואחרי עיניכם, אשר אתם זונים אחריהם, למען תזכרו, ועשיתם את כל מצוותי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם, אמת.
Hear the words of freedom each and every day. When we are sharing the same fate with God, the story that we tell is that we are partners in making all humanity free, partners in making not only those who are shackled in chains with earthly constraints, but those who are constrained of mental challenge and of any difficulty that prevents anyone seeing the dignity and the utter respect of every human being that exists. And So we sing a song reminding us each and every day, Mi Chamocha, who is like you, that brings us all together and enables us to see the oneness between us.
Sing with me.
La, 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 la.
מלכותך רעו בניך, אוקיי הים לפני משה, מלכותך רעו בניך, אוקיי הים לפני משה, זה לי, ענו ויאמרו, אדוני ימלוך. וכיפת אדוני את יעקב, וגלו מיד חזק ממנו, ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל.
Rabbi Larry Hoffman points out if God and humanity share the same fate, then it's like two ocean waves that are superimposing their mutual strength one over the other in the torrents of the sea. That image is beautiful, and the image that we share the same fate as God is beautiful and powerful and connects us to the possibility of oneness. But we struggle, we are challenged by the possibility of that common fate. When so much suffering, so much illness dwells in our midst, sometimes we wonder if it's a punishment. Sometimes we wonder that what's required of us is far more challenging than our partner could have ever imagined. It's why the book of Isaiah prompts the word to call us witnesses, Atem Edai. And the rabbis pick up this idea that says, Atem Edai, you are my witnesses. God says, like the oceans that are crashing on the sea, rather than struggling with one superior strength over another, you, B'nai Yisrael, are my witnesses. When we recite this prayer, Hashkivenu, that is precisely the words and the intent of the words. If we will be witnesses, witnesses to the struggle, witnesses to the illness and the strife that exists among us, if we will not turn away, not avert our eyes to those who appear different than us, who behave differently than we do, but we look and we see, we bear witness. Why then, as the rabbis picked it up, if we are witnesses, why then God exists. If we bear witness, then God's presence is felt. A prayer like this is the words that we use to help us bear witness. Not only to feel a sense of protection for us in the world, but to embody our responsibility and our ability and our capacity to bring healing to those in need. Let us well up all of our strength and all of our prayers right now for anyone who is in need of healing at this time. And as we pray that God protects us with a Sukkot Shalom, a sheltering presence of peace and a sheltering presence of healing, that we too may be those shelters of peace and healing to all in need. Page 33, Hashkivet.
Teiteinu voeinu lechaim ulshalom me'ata ve'ad olam ufros aleinu sukkot shelomecha baruch atah Adonai apore sukkot shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael.
Next, page 34, Vishamru. If you're seated, stand up, get ready to dance and sing as we bring in Shabbat now with Vishamru. Amen.
Le'alam olam me'al maya Yitbarach Yitbarach ve'yishtabach Ve'yitba'ar v'yitromam ve'yitnaseh Ve'yitadar ve'yitaleh Ve'yitalal Shemei b'kudeshav b'richu Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata Tosh v'chata v'nehemata Damiran ve'alma ve'imaru Amen.
We invite you to take a few moments now of private meditation, prayer, and reflection, beginning on page 35 and continuing in the Siddur through page 38. So just follow along in the blue book if you like. And if you're not using the book and you're just absorbing the beautiful melodies and the music in our presence, take a few moments, meditate as Shabbat begins, hopefully finding your own place of reunion, connection, returning home, uplift, and a sense of healing and a sense of peace as Shabbat begins. Pages 35 to page 38.
Shalom al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki ata hu melech Adon lechol hashalom. Ki ata hu melech Adon lechol hashalom. Shalom Rab Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. V'tov einecha le'arei et amcha Yisrael ve'oleinu ve'ol neshama Shalom Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Tasim
We near the conclusion of our service as we invite you to remain standing if you're standing, or if you're seated, stand up as we turn now to page 51 and conclude with Aleinu.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. הכתוב בתורתך אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא. ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו
There are those among us who've experienced a loss this week, and we hope that as Shabbat begins, you find the warmth and embrace of community to enable you to enter into this space to offer your prayers lovingly of loved ones who have passed on. Whether you're here in our midst to remember the passing of a loved one over the years, a yard site, or you're remembering at this time someone that you love who's passed recently within the last 30 days or the last year. Please turn with me now to page 52 in the Siddur as we recite the Mourner's Kaddish, Kaddish Yatom together. Yitgadal ve'yitgadash Shemei Rabbah. Be'alma dibrach Yerutei ve'amlich malchutei chayechon v'yemechon v'chayei dekol Beit Yisrael ba'agalau v'zman kari v'imru amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah mevorach le'olam u'ameh amaya yitbarach v'yishtabach v'pa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yit'aleh v'yit'alal Shemei Dekudsha berichu Leila min kol bechata v'shirata tush bechata v'nechamata da'amiram be'alma v'imru amen. Yehei Shlama Rabba min Shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mamav u'yaseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Cantor Baron, thank you very much for beautiful music and leading us tonight and sharing with us your light in the window that has just started to glow so beautifully on the books. And for those who joined a little bit later, we talked about how Shabbat really is the light upon wisdom that enters into this day. So thank you for illuminating our path and brightening our day. And we're so grateful that you've all joined us here. Tomorrow morning, we have Torah study with Rabbi Feinstein, I believe at 9 o'clock. I know for sure that we have the Shabbat morning services at 10 a.m. Cantor Baron and I will be celebrating the bat mitzvah of Hannah Rosen, who has worked so diligently to prepare words of teaching and to prepare the words from the Torah text and Haftorah to chant for us and to lead us in prayer. And we're thrilled to celebrate with her family, as well as following the Shabbat services at about 11:45. So usually it's around 11:30, but we're going to just extend it just so we're not rushed with the bat mitzvah. We're going to welcome Rabbi Hillel Silverman, who will be teaching us a little bit on the weekly Torah portion. At 6 p.m. tomorrow, we gather together as a community as we welcome Yossi Dresner, our beloved ritual director, to lead us in the Mincha and Marif prayers. And at 8:30 tomorrow night, Cantor Baron and I will show back up on your screens with hopefully something a little bit more aglow, a candle and some sweet spice and some sort of sweet elixir to light on fire as we conclude Shabbat together. That's at 8:30 p.m. There's lots of other great opportunities for learning and community participation in the coming weeks. So we look forward to you showing up and participating in that. Anything else you wanted to add, Cantor Baron?
Not really, but just to put on your calendar or in your mind to remember, September 12th is Slichot, believe it or not. And that's just a little over a month away. And we are doing Slichot with Stephen Wise, Wilshire Boulevard, and Sinai Temple. So 4 synagogues combining for Slichot with all of our clergy. And it'll be a really wonderful program. September 12th, it's Saturday night. I believe it also begins at 8:30, but check the VBS website for the exact times.
Fantastic. Something big and something to look forward to, because right after Slichot is Rosh Hashanah, and that is a lot of communal connection and gathering that we are working tirelessly toward day by day, and we can't wait to celebrate those holidays with you. I saw Michelle. I didn't know if she wanted to pop in the screen and wish Shabbat Shalom. You don't have to, but I did see her there. Shabbat Shalom. That's good. And we're going to conclude now with the blessings of the candles and of Kiddush, the wine. So look right behind Cantor Baron. There we have it. The Hadlakat Neirot and Kiddush. And to all of our friends, we say together, Shabbat Shalom.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho v'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu zikaron lema'aseh v'reishit. Ki hu yom tehila lemikrae kodesh zecher litziat Mitzrayim. Kivanu v'acharta v'otanu kidashta מכל העמים, ושבת קודשך, אהבה וברצון, הנחלתנו, ברוך אתה אדוני, מקדש השבת.
L'chaim. Shabbat shalom, everyone. Thank you very much once again. We'll see you in many places together. So we conclude together. Adon Olam, Yigdal, you too.
אדון עולם אשר מלך, בטרם כל יציר נברא, ויתנשא וחפצו כל, אזי מלך, אזי מלך, אזי מלך שמו נקרא, ואחרי יכלום צפון, לבדו יכלום נורא, והוא היה והוא הווה, והוא יהיה לתפארה. אדון עולם אשר מלך, בטרם כל יציר נברא, ויתנשא וחפצו כל, אזי מלך, אזי מלך, אזי מלך שמו נקרא, וידו כי רוחי, והייתי שם וירא, ואם רוחי כבידי, אדוני לי ולא ירא. אדון עולם אשר מלך, בטרם כל יציר נברא, ויתנשא וחפצו כל, אזי מלך, אזי מלך, אזי מלך שמו נקרא. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.